Spring training is officially underway. Who or what should we be watching this spring? And, well, unfortunately, on Wednesday, I woke up to some not so good news in that Justin Verlander, our ace, is dealing with shoulder inflammation and reported being a few weeks behind schedule. Now, Verlander turns 41 in just a couple of days, and he just called it a slight hiccup. Being at his age, probably something like this is prone to happening. But last season, when he was traded to the Mets, he did experience a delayed start last season after he was placed on the injured list with a muscle strain before debuting in May. Now, he's not the only starting pitcher on the Astros starting rotation dealing with this injury and this exact injury at that. Another one, believe it or not, is J.P. France. Now, does this mean the Astros should look for another starting pitcher? Well, I think the answer to that question is no. And there may be a few good names still on the market like Blake Snell, Jonathan Montgomery, and I think those are actually the only two names that I can think of at this moment that still have not signed with the team. But our starting rotation is one of the best there is in baseball. And I mean, although it seems to be on thin ice at times, it certainly has looked like that for most of last season. And it probably does seem like the one thing that fans are worried about. But we should not be panicking yet, because thankfully yesterday, so Thursday, JV did make some progress and started throwing it from the mound on that day. And as for JP France, I mean, I haven't seen much information on him at this time. I mean, I would think he's okay, I don't think he would be delaying his season debut at this time. And I mean, for a guy like him, I mean, you're not expecting him to win a Cy Young or anything like that. But at the same time, when guys like Verlander, Valdez, and Javier, which are arguably our top three starting pitchers, when those three guys like them are not pitching, you're still expecting him to have a quality outing. Where, like, say, he gives you at least 6 innings, preferably 7. Anytime he steps out onto the mound. But so that way, of course, he can meet up with the rest of our talent that our pitching staff has. Now, in addition to that, the Astros have invited some of their young minor league prospects to their major league training camp. So we would certainly expect to see them this spring. And one of those guys, and particularly the one that I think we should be keeping an eye on this spring, is Spencer Arrighetti. Now, this young man was the Astros minor league pitcher of the year last season after he went 9-7 with a 4.40 ERA and 21 starts between AA and AAA. Now, I'm not going to bore you guys too much with stats from these guys, but I'm going to try to keep it simple and to the point. But point being, this guy is currently our top pitching prospect, and another pitching prospect who will probably see this spring is former prospect Forrest Whitley. I think this should be the season where Forrest Whitley makes an appearance in the big leagues. He has been really battling injuries for the past few years, and even so, the Astros were really considering trading him last season, but ultimately they did not. So, that's good. Hopefully we can see him this season. I would really like to see Forrest Whitley make an appearance this season. And, hopefully he can have a good spring to showcase that he's at least somewhat ready. And then, maybe break a little bit down in AAA before he can finally prove himself. But anyway, so the next guy who will probably be seeing this, the next guy who we're expected to keep an eye on this spring are outfielders Joey Loperfido and Kennedy Corona. And sorry, I'm looking down at my computer. I've got notes on that written for this video. But Loperfido was named the Astros minor league player of the year last season after he hit .278, slugging 25 home runs and 75 RBIs. And then Corona, who's a very versatile outfielder, played most of his minor league season down at AAA, where he stole 31 bases, which made him a very huge speed threat on the base paths. And believe me, if there's one thing that this team really needs, it's somebody who's a really huge threat on the base paths, as in, he'll pretty much get a green light to steal second base anytime he's on base paths, especially in late game situations, like, say, if it's the 7th inning or later and he's representing the tying or potential winning run. And we did have that luxury a couple of years ago when we had Miles Straw, and he is still arguably the fastest player in all of baseball, or at least compared to some other guys who I've recently watched. He may not, and he's not even a good hitter either. All he really, his real talent, in my opinion, it just comes from base running. And there are a couple of good guys who are both fine in both speed on the base paths and also good hitters at the plate. out there. I mean, Miles Straw certainly wasn't one of those guys, but his speed definitely did come in handy in certain situations for us last season, and it's a shame that we don't have him anymore. But hopefully, if at some point hopefully Corona can hopefully give us this luxury at some point when he makes it to the big leagues. And of course, his versatile defense out in center field was able to award him a Gold Glove at his position down in the minor leagues. And like I said, he primarily played his most of his season down in center field. So, I mean, we aren't really in huge need of a center fielder right now, but like maybe if Jake Myers can't necessarily prove himself, I mean, we've got a couple of guys who can possibly replace him. But hopefully at some point when worst case, maybe we could give this guy a chance, and yeah, we could certainly see him this season. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm excited for spring training. I'm excited for the first spring training game to start up in a week. I mean, the spring training workouts and everything are already underway, like with players working out and all that. But the first game isn't until next week, and I'm excited for that. And that is actually also when I'll be doing my first ever live fan reaction video. So hopefully everybody here stays tuned for that. I'm excited to get that done. But anyway, guys, that's gonna do it this week. That's gonna do for this video rather. And I'll thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Go Astros.